Hi, Michael. Are you ready for the interview?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Tell me about your story. What does depression feels like?
You know, never actually thought about it when I actually put it into words. It's quite a difficult one.
How would you describe it? What's the feeling behind
Okay,
that?
so it's quite. You feel like disconnected, like from the world. You don't. You feel like you have no place you fit in. That's how I would describe it. Definitely, like there's no place, like no job, no people, no. Like you just feel you don't fit anywhere. That's how I describe depression. Like there's no place of belonging. Like, there's no place you feel happy. Like you just feel like you're like missing. That's like you just never fit in. You don't feel like you get with anyone. You don't belong anywhere. Or you've. That's how
There
I
is
say it
literally
feels.
nothing where you feel belong
No,
to.
like you can just feel disconnected from like the world itself. Like there's nothing.
How about family?
Yep, family, friends, relatives, cousins, everyone. Your work colleagues, your workplace. Like it just feels like nowhere. It leaves you feeling quite empty. Like very, very like numb. You just do nothing.
How was your childhood?
Childhood, I was very, very, very isolated. I never spoke to no one. Go to school, go to primary school, not anyone. Didn't make friends with really much anyone. Never knew how to speak. I never had no confidence. I was just very shy, very, very shy. I wouldn't speak to teachers. I wouldn't answer anything. Had the worst shyness ever as a kid.
Anything happened? Anything relevant to having depression later on happened during your childhood?
I wouldn't say from childhood. Childhood was not the best, but it was just normal, just like every other kid. It's just I was just shy. I didn't feel confident to speak up. It's something I always had from young. It took me a long time to get that, but it was only later on like it developed. Like started getting depression as I went to high school. I mean, it's pretty common. A lot of kids get bullied, the usual. It's not only me, but that's one thing that triggered it because it made me very even more insecure. Going to school, like studying grades, made it harder because being someone who's isolated, I just feel like no one understands me, so it was difficult to make friends. So if I had to just feel like when I'm in school, I was like, oh, I don't know who to ask for. I don't feel comfortable talking to teachers. I just kind of just always to myself. No one really wanted to talk to me. So it made studying a lot difficult, very difficult. And then there was bullying. So me growing up as a shy kid from young, never really had that independence. Made me lack a lot of strengths in high school. So there's me just like not really reaching out. I didn't know what to do. When I get bullied, I would just never say anything because I wasn't brave enough to ever speak up about it. And that kind of led me to just not studying it. Then I would go home. I wouldn't tell my parents about it because I couldn't, because the way they were back then. So and teachers then back then didn't really seem to care as much as they do now about bullying. How they didn't see it as that serious as a thing. So
So bullying played a role in
yeah,
developing
massively a big. It made like
depression or
yeah,
mental health
it
disorder later
started from
on.
everything from traumas to depression. Bullying was the biggest thing that started it. Made me like maybe start that.
Did you have
Meant to
your mom
act.
and dad growing up?
I did, but they weren't really there for like support when I couldn't really ask them anything because they wasn't really well themselves. They had their own mental illnesses going on and their childhood anyway. So I didn't.
What was going on? You said they had their own things going
Yeah, as
on.
in my mum, she had schizophrenia at the time, so she in her childhood again. I didn't know this, but talking to my mum's sisters, they said like she was very isolated in her youth, in her childhood. She wouldn't talk to no one. So I feel like maybe that's what I inherit that from. I feel like the same thing. And whereas my dad, he just didn't really have a good childhood either. So they didn't really learn much as parents. They didn't really know how to be parents. They were still learning themselves. So therefore, like they couldn't teach me much. So I had to, just find people I can trust, like friends. But it wasn't easy. So therefore, that affected me a lot because let's just say I go to school and I need help with homework or studying. I couldn't go to my parents because they didn't really know how to do that. They didn't really have a good school themselves.
So having a mom with schizophrenia, do you think somehow change your mindset? Did you witness any episode, anything that you remember during that day with your mom?
Not really because it wasn't that bad when I was like maybe like 7, 8 years old growing up. Like it was just very light, the schizophrenia. It didn't develop that serious yet.
Okay.
So she was kind of normal at times. So nothing really bad was going on back then. It used to have like very lightly, like maybe there she would just get like she might her moods might change, but she wouldn't get aggressive or anything and
Okay.
like that back when I was younger.
So it was very well spoken into the family that your mom had schizophrenia,
Yeah,
and you knew how to deal with it.
no, I didn't, because
Oh.
as a thing, like because when I met my dad, well, I should have. Well, my dad never really told me when I was a lot younger. He didn't really aware of this, like anything, because he didn't know himself, like that she had this. It's only until like much like when I was like 15, then it developed. Then it started to like show signs of it. But before that, we had no clue. So I had no idea.
Okay. How about today? Do you feel like there is any stigma at workplace with friends and family talking about having depression? Or do you feel like society has normalized having this kind of mental health disorder?
Oh, it is now. It's very massive now. Now, yeah, it's normalized a lot. Like it's really really important. Like it's been noticed a lot. There's a lot of recognition for it out now. There wasn't so much when I was growing up. It wasn't really big of a thing. It wasn't really not really paying attention to it until like there was a lot of depression leads to a lot of suicides. So that's when they started to like make more of an effort to like recognize and notice it in all people of all youth of all ages.
What's the worst symptoms of having depression?
It's your mind. The thoughts that goes on in the mind can be the worst. We can have suicidal thoughts. We can shut off. Like we just won't eat. We won't sleep. Our mind never stops. Like telling us, it's like a voice in the head that doesn't end. We just keep hearing, telling us to do this, telling us to do that. Like, yeah, it can be really bad. That's the worst side of it. I would say the voices, the thoughts that goes through the mind, because you can never tell what a person's thinking.
What do you wish the world to know about people having depression? If you could tell one thing to the world, what would you say?
Just be there for them. I would say definitely. Any friends that you have, like I would say, just say it. Like definitely, never hold back, because if it doesn't, it's gonna hold you back for your whole life. It will make your whole life difficult. I'd say reach out to anyone, no matter who you know. Just do it.
Just be there for them.
That's it. Just be there. If they got friends, just be there. Check on them. Reach out to them, because they're not gonna reach out to you. They never will. So you have to notice the signs. You got to pay attention now.
You have to pay
Yeah,
attention.
you definitely have to observe everything
Thank
a
you for
person
saying
does.
that. Sometimes we have to pay attention what people say.
Yep, everything the person does, the actions, the way they walk, everything.
So would you say to people, find your place where you're meant to be, find a place where you can fit in?
Yes, because people with mental health, yeah, they struggle the hardest. Because with that holds you back. Like it can hold you back your whole life. With that, you can never know. You can be unsure because your mind has so many thoughts at once. So you just never know. The person will always be unsure. As again, they don't know. Like, it makes that it will bring on such anxiety, because with depression, because you're isolated from such a young age, a lot of people could be the same. You see, when they're growing up in youth, so it makes them think like, oh, where am I ever supposed to fit? Because everything they do, the depression makes them feel like, oh, what if I don't even fit in? Like, what if people are going to think this of me, or someone's going to look at me like that because I don't perform well, because of the anxiety starts to affect them. That's how it can affect people in work. Depression makes it that hard.
Definitely, definitely. Also, that night you were talking about having faith, your own religion. You were talking about God, how your faith can help you as well. What's your opinion about it?
See, this is the thing. Religion's always been a big thing in my family growing up, like from my mum's side family, and they've always tried to make me follow it from young, trying to get me into like the habit of praying every day, because they feel like my mum was always a big believer of like Catholic
Was she
religion.
Christian, Catholic? Yeah.
Yeah, Catholic. So she was always a massive believer, and she would always be like, yeah, whatever happens in life, like just pray always, no matter how things get difficult it gets. And you see, for the most time, yeah, I grew up going to church a lot and doing everything and getting like going with my mum to church quite a lot. Every Sunday I would go. She would take me. She made me go until I got used to it. Then I went to a Catholic school. Then she put me there for a reason, so I could learn better about how the church works and how religion works and learn more. So when I'm able to grow into like a better person. But you see, when depression came along, I used to pray a lot, like every day, because when I saw my family, and I used to think, oh, why does nothing ever change? Like my family is like it's not a very great environment to grow up. You see, my mum wasn't very healthy, neither was my dad. We're quite a poor family. So it made me think like, okay, let me just pray every day and try to get closer to God and actually build that. Maybe He can help me in some ways. Hopefully that I get blessed. Maybe my life can change around. You know, my parents can get the healing because it's expensive. It costs a lot of money. So praying was the only thing I knew at the time. But a lot of the times when I would pray, it got to a point where I tried to always keep my faith strong and not let things distract me from doing that in life. Like a lot of things can get in your way. You know, as bullying, it takes a massive impact, and it kind of made me feel like, oh, why are people so cruel to me? Like, you know, you think, what have I done wrong in this life? Even though you pray, you be good, you can do good all we want. Even then, people treat me wrong, people treated me bad, I would still be kind. But then that's what kind of led me to kind of fall off after, like, when I got to around the age of 15, because I just felt like prayers weren't being answered. I didn't notice no change. So therefore, it kind of led me to I just got depressed. It started was from that because nothing was really changing. My situation, family life wasn't getting better. Like, I wasn't getting all the things I want. Nothing was going my way. Every time I applied for jobs, I tried to do like, you know, studying hard, got everything I wanted, the grades. I got cancelled out. Nothing would work. I'd go for interviews for big jobs. I just get rejected all the time. So you see, that's where I think, oh, it was kind of my downfall. So I kind of left religion for a while and think, you know, maybe is it true? Like, is it really making a difference? So then I kind of took things into my own hands. I thought, you know, let me do it my way and see.
What's your own way?
So me thinking, trying to figure myself out, because they always say in religion, we was always taught to like, just put all your trust and worries to God. So being attached too close to my mum, whenever I was left, I felt like I was always lost without it. Like, never had no independence. So I thought maybe it's best I just try and like learn how to deal with anxiety, learn how to overcome depression, try and find ways to build myself, as in making friends, being better, speaking better, being more confident. Because if I don't, it's only going to affect me for the rest of my life. So.
And then you said that your mum got sick last year. Am I correct?
Yeah, last year, 2023.
Do you want to share a story? She was sick with. You say that she was sick with cancer.
Yeah, eventually cancer it started to show up last year, because her what do you call it? Her schizophrenia got really bad during last year, just before Christmas. So, like, it was getting to a point where it was really really bad. Like, she wasn't doing anything. I tried to. She wouldn't go out. She wouldn't socialize. That isolation was coming back again. She wouldn't reach for help or do nothing, not anything. So there for me, I had to go into, like, you know, get her for appointments, take her to doctors, and then I never expected cancer to be the thing to show up, like, at least, because we didn't at the time. We never ever thought it would have been cancer. I just thought it was all part of the schizophrenia because I wasn't.
Oh, the cancer was causing the symptoms, you mean?
Yeah, after a while, the cancer started to show up. But before that, it was just a schizophrenia. So we never looked at it as that serious, because when I used to take her to the doctors, and then they used to give a lot of blood tests and check, they never really noticed any signs of cancer. It just came out of nowhere unexpectedly. So it was a shock to all of us, really, because by then, when he discovered it, it was too late. Like, it had grown too big to do anything. So yeah, it made it very difficult, because then at that point, like, it's like I was like, what? It wasn't even sure what to do. Yeah.
And then you say that one thing that you want to do, even if she's gone, you say you still want to make her proud, and you want to following what she was teaching you. That's
that's because when growing up, like, you know, it's not easy living with that kind of condition. And, you know, even though, like, when I got older, it made a lot more sense to me, because, you know, when you're young, you won't understand a lot of things when you're a kid, but your parents don't want you to worry like that. So my mum wouldn't really talk about it, because she didn't want me to know that she had that. So as I got older, eventually, my dad had to tell me, not mum, because she wasn't mentally stable too. But what was I going to say? Yeah, it affected me a lot, because then I feel like when I get older, it made things a lot difficult for me, because then I thought, I started to understand it more. I forgot what I was going to say. Lost the line.
You were saying about even if she's gone, you still want to make her proud and following.
Yes, because as growing up, it's not easy being a parent growing with mental health and trying to look after someone. So it made me think, I don't want my mum to know, like, she went through all that suffering for me to just fail in life, you know, and just give up so easily, because it's hard to see when your mum tried to do everything, even with her mental health, she tried to do everything to make sure like, I had a good child, like, the best she could, even though it might not have been the best, but she did what she her best, what she knows she could do. She tried to do it the best she could. And there's me thinking like, oh, if I just give up so easily, then that makes me feel like I failed her. She feel that suffering for what? For nothing. So I kind of hold that on me. It makes a lot of me to kind of push me because I feel like I don't want to fail her. After suffering all that, because I got everything to make her proud. Because
You want her suffering being worth it.
yeah, I want it to be like have to worth. Like she didn't just go through that for nothing. For me to just not be successful. So.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.